Dobar dan svima.
O,
Ovdje je
dobar dan.
Maki.
Ovdje je Aleksandra.
Aleksandra. Dobrodošla, Aleksandra. Kako si?
Hvala lepo, odlično. Dan je vedar. Počeo je loše, bilo je oblačno, sad je vedro. Super, zadovoljna sam.
Great. I
A ti?
understood
Kako si
everything.
ti?
Hvala puno.
Okay.
Sve je u redu ovdje.
O, dobro.
Da.
Drago mi je.
Drago mi je. So everybody, I'm talking to Aleksandra from Survive Serbian, and she's our guest today. Ivana is not with us for this episode, but we are going to be, she helped me to prepare the questions and everything, so she's here with us anyway.
Okay, say hello to her and say to her that we're jealous.
Yes, we are both jealous of her because she's on an island in Spain surfing right now. So
exactly.
But she's doing
But
it.
we're happy to be here, right?
Yes, exactly. And we are happy to be here to share our experiences and our tips for Serbian learners, right? Yeah. So you have a nickname.
Thank you for inviting me.
Sure thing. Thanks for coming. Yeah. It's really a pleasure having you. I love your content. I'm a big follower of yours. Ivana probably follows you a little bit because she doesn't need, but I need your content. So
okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So you have a nickname, right? Aska?
Atska.
Atska. Okay, that's the shortcut of Aleksandra?
Yes. Actually, I like my name. I like Aleksandra, but when people speak to me and I don't know, call me Aleksandra, then I feel like I'm a doctor's or something like that.
Formal?
Something formal. Yes, like police, doctor, something like that. Okay, or someone is mad at me, So Atska is actually, like 90% of the people who know me by Atska.
Aska. Do they also say Askica?
Yes, Atskica.
Yes. I learned. Yeah.
Atskica, Atskic.
Okay.
Atskoni, I think I have that too. Atskoni, cool. Atskolina.
Wow, that's long.
Atskamatska.
Atskamatska, like tongue twister. Yeah. Okay, I'd like to know about you a little bit. I know that you create these beautiful stories for Serbian learners. We will come to that. But as a person, who you are, where you come from, and what you like and don't like.
Okay, so I live in Novi Sad.
Okay.
I've been living here for 15 years, but I don't come from Novi Sad. I come from a village close to Novi Sad. I went to Karlovci High School, this language school. Yeah,
famous one, right?
Yes, that one. And actually, I went to school every day by train. So now that's very interesting because now we got this super fast train that, I don't know, 36 minutes from Novi Sad to Belgrade. And I remember from Novi Sad to this village where I live, like 30 kilometers from Novi Sad, I don't know, it was 1 hour, sometimes 1 hour, 75 minutes or 90 minutes, depending, because, the tracks were bad and everything. The trains were late. So I had my spirit and I went to language school, and somehow this language school brought me later to Serbian University. I studied Serbian and I've been teaching Serbian since 2008. I did other jobs as well. I had other jobs, but somehow I stick to teaching.
Yeah, you love teaching Serbian the most, right?
Yes. It gives you the freedom other jobs don't give you.
Exactly. So, teaching somebody's own mother tongue is something unique. I enjoy teaching Turkish as well. So I love
many aspects. It's just not you teach, but you also share, you learn a lot. Exactly. And I remember back then, 2008, I met some foreigners here. So I wasn't in Novi Sad. I was abroad, people from all over the world came here. And I felt like I'm not in Novi Sad. And that experience, I don't know, I think that is precious when you meet and share, and when your everyday life looks completely different. And what this teaching Serbian brought to me, and also a lot of friends.
Exactly.
You are a teacher, so with a lot of your students, you become a great friend. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
You see, we are completing each other's sentence. Ah, it's great to have a teacher in the show.
I hope I will not interrupt you.
No, it's going to be me. I will be doing
when I get excited, I tend to interrupt.
Okay. So you create beautiful stories and funny stories, right? Daily, casual stories. How did you come up with the idea? I mean, you've been teaching Serbian for a long time, obviously. You tried many different things, I assume. So
Yes.
how how did you end up like having this idea and sticking with it?
Exactly. So I was frustrated by the books on the market. I mean, maybe it's not nice to say, but I have to say, and maybe it's also a good possibility for improvement, right? Because, and it's also fine, of course, to grow your ideas. You know, I'm not the same teacher. Like I've been teaching since 2008, but now completely other story, and that's great. So I was kind of frustrated because I always wanted more from the content. And what now I know what I wanted. I wanted emotions. I wanted this personal touch. I wanted inspiring stories. I wanted funny stories. I wanted, you know, shock, surprise. I wanted people when I sit in front of them, like in front of my students, I wanted them to feel something, you know, because teaching a language such as Serbian is not like people don't learn Serbian because they need to find a work, they need to find a job. It's not that. It's about relationship. Either you have a partner, or you have a friend, or you want to speak to some relatives, or you come here and you want to hang out with people, something like that. It's like kind of hobby language, right?
Exactly, for pleasure.
Exactly. And then you get a book and something that is not fun, that you can't relate to, and then you say like, oh, so many words, oh, it's hard, oh, it's and I think it's easier if it's fun, and if it's something that can make you laugh, then can, you know, help you show some emotions, interact with a teacher, with others.
Exactly.
So now at this moment I'm watching Italian series on Netflix. And I have to say that I think I'm very close to starting learning Italian. And why? Because I felt that I can make this new alter ego, okay? Because I've been watching these series for, I don't know, 2 months or something, and all these words pop up in my mind, you know, in my head. And then I'm like, oh, this is great. And I can choose the words I want to learn. So I realized this, it's this fun moment, you know. And when you have this attitude, it's not important if it's hard. It's not important if you make mistakes. It's
you don't
not
think
important.
about them.
Yeah. Exactly. You just enjoy creating another ego of yourself. Okay, this is me in Serbian, this is me in Italian, I will be this in English. Okay, so it's back to the
but
topic.
I need to say something there. I think that's a kind of a superpower of Balkan people, learning the language from series. I mean, in Turkey, we watch so many Spanish movies, series. They were like a trend, where I see people in other countries watching Turkish movies and series and stuff, but they don't learn the language. But Serbians, I mean, other Balkanic countries, they speak Italian, Spanish. How did you learn? From TV? Wow, cool. I had never heard this kind of explanation in other countries that I lived in. So I think it's your superpower.
Okay, but you know, but that's exactly because all these series, they're about emotions, you know. It's like expressive. Like if you watch a creamy series, it's expressive. Stop. You know, like something like stop or I'll kill you, something like that. And when we do have this expressive language, people learn easily from that. I remember these telenovelas, Spain telenovelas. Oh, I love you, I am pregnant. You know, this kind of language, like estoy embarazada. Sí, I remember these words just from the telenovela. So if there are emotions, if people are expressive, it's easy to pick up the language. So I think it's about that. And that's why exactly I started writing the stories. So it's my stories are not, okay, something is happening and then you have the conflict and it resolves. It's just me giving opinion on a situation. So I'm
Exactly.
mad at a mosquito, so I express lots of things against the mosquito.
Exactly. Inner talks, right? All the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So and then I can in this kind of topic, I can use lots of expressive sentences that people can remember. Okay. Uyedime, bite me. When I talk to the mosquito, right?
Exactly.
Or I don't know, when I'm mad at my
or something.
Nebrini, exactly.
I catch them a lot from your stories. Yeah. So we will come to your stories.
I did a good job.
Yes, you are doing a good job. Every time you're doing a better job. So for our followers, we can find your stories on Instagram and YouTube, right? Under the name of Survive Serbian.
I have a YouTube channel, so the stories are on the YouTube channel, and my Instagram account serves as a place where we practice the vocabulary from the stories. So I was thinking, like the other day, like if someone new bumps up and see my Instagram, that person will be like, why is she using this word? Or what is this? It's definitely connected. So all this, not all, but some interesting words from the stories. I make fun videos with these words. I put them in a different context. So my students can, I need a word. So they can remind themselves of the word. Yeah. Exactly. So if you follow the story and then video, I can remind you of the word. Or in the stories as well, I make interesting stories that can engage people and use this new vocabulary. So everything is connected. All the videos, the vocabulary I use are from stories.
That's good. Very good. And you generously share the PDF versions of some of the stories, I think. I remember downloading some stories of yours on my computer.
Yes. I mean, you mean the YouTube stories or the transcripts?
YouTube stories, I think. Or I'm not sure.
Of course, you can download them. I mean, there are also these tools on the internet where you can download them as a video or also an MP3 for for audio. I mean, you can listen to it. Yeah. When you are in the park, then you hear my voice. Yes. And don't listen it too much.
Saying weird things.
Don't get irritated by my voice. So yes, you can download it, of course, and it's for free. But I also make workbooks. That is something. So if you listen to the story, check the vocabulary and everything, follow me on Instagram, and then the next step is to do these exercises. I make nice workbooks where you can practice this vocabulary based on the repetition. It means it's not like you sit and then fill out the exercises forever. It's just these exercises are easy to follow, and then you practice and get in touch with this vocabulary. So after doing all these exercises, there is no chance that you will not remember the words from the story.
Oh, a good backup or follow-up exercise after the story.
Exactly. And then you get also, if you get a workbook, then you get a PDF book with all the YouTube slides. It's like a nice 40-50 pages. So all the pictures, like how it looks on YouTube, you get that as a PDF book. And then translations for students that are not upper level, so for lower levels.
Very useful.
If someone wants to save some time with the translations, but also if someone really needs help. So like the stories are for intermediate level, but I don't know, if you learn Serbian for 3 months or 4 months, you can still do it using these translations. You can do this work.
Whenever I do not understand some words, I just pause your video and open Google Translate on the next tab and just check it out, right? So it's easy.
Do they translate me nicely?
I think Google Translate is better now than it was before, I think. But there's always the room for mistakes in there, I know.
Okay. You can what I like with English, for example, when I miss a word in English, I always Google the word because I want to see this word in the context, and then I'm sure if this is true or not. So this is how I Google English words. I never use dictionaries, actually. I put the word and then meaning, or just I put the word and then I see what comes
Yeah, the
out
suggestions. Yeah, you're
to
right.
be sure that this word is, I mean,
Is the
a
right
normal
word.
word, is existing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you started teaching your own language and you're now writing stories. All these, after doing these or after starting to do these, have you realized about Serbian culture something new after, starting to teach it or after now? So you're maybe still you're realizing some facts about your own culture.
It's interesting actually, like when you hang out with people from here, you kind of know the code, or you think you know the code, right? But then when you meet foreigners and when they come up with something, then you're like, really? Like I was surprised yesterday. I listened to your podcast with Pearl Swan, the
Yeah.
Canadian girl. I love the podcast. I like her very much.
Hi, Pearl.
Yes, I like her videos, and what I like about her, she gave me this feeling of appreciating Serbian food more because she's enjoying Serbian food in her videos, in her stories as well. That I'm like, oh, I need to appreciate the food more because I have this in my fridge. I need to have this attitude because it's awesome. And then she said something about when she says to Serbian girls, "You are beautiful. Jako si lepa."
Yeah.
She said that Serbian girls are, oh, like, oh, thank you,
The
oh, thank
biggest
you, you know.
thing. Yeah.
Yes. And then when she says that to Canadian girls, then they're like, oh, thank you, just normal. And I was like thinking about it. What's that? What does that mean? And then I realized, that means something about the culture, Balkan culture, and
Exactly.
how do we approach? I mean, and the guys as well, right? Serbs, do they give compliments or not? Are the girls used to compliments or not? Or so. Yes, definitely. In my interaction with students, I realize a lot about the culture and some things that that I usually don't think about, if that was the question.
Yes, that is actually, yeah, definitely. And in our podcast, it's the same because for Ivana, it's like it's something normal. Nothing strikes her as it does with me, right? So I always come up with these weird questions and these topics when we brainstorm because I have so many realizations like, oh, they say this because they think that way. I always try to find interesting parts of your culture. And while teaching your language, even the words, the selection of words gives a lot of information about how you think, right?
Exactly. So when I started with the stories, it was interesting actually. I always knew, I shared with you my story that I haven't been online since 2009, I think. So I never posted anything on social media. That was just not the way how I interacted with people. I didn't need it. I don't know. Somehow I was always out. I didn't need this, I don't know, to take a picture and post it. I just didn't. And then I knew that I always wanted to do to upgrade my teaching. I wanted to meet more people because as I am one person and I was available for a few students, right? So but I was like, I want more students. I want to interact with more people. And I knew that I have to go online, but I don't know, somehow I wasn't ready for, I don't know, for the social media world, let's say. So my first post on Instagram is last year, like it was on 15 May last year. So it's like, that was completely new thing for me. And I knew that I should do something online, that I should be posting and so on, but I wasn't sure what I should be doing. And then during COVID, I was sick with COVID 2 years ago, November. 3 weeks, like nothing special, but 3 weeks inside. And then I was like, and then I wrote the story. I didn't wrote it for Survive Serbian. I just wrote it. It was just the thing I did. I wrote it for myself because in 2013, 14, I started actually writing. I did some workshops and yeah. So I had like 2 years writing experience. And I loved it. And I remember it gave me this flow, when I dancing, exercising and writing gives me this flow when I get lost.
Yeah.
So because I'm
you don't
a
know where you
thinker.
are.
Yes, I'm a thinker. I think constantly. I have crazy ideas constantly popping to my mind. So I can't stop myself. And when I do this, I stop myself. So I remember COVID, and I did this writing, and I wrote a story, and then I saw it, and it clicked. This is what I should do.
Exactly.
I should write stories. And then I don't know, I needed a few months just to figure out the technical stuff and so on. And then I posted a story, and why I knew that this is the thing I should do. Because before I didn't like, okay, I should post something, I should write something about it. It didn't feel right. But then with the stories, it just felt right. Because I can share emotions with people, because stories are emotions and people can relate to them. I can be connected with my students in a way that I can't if we use some other content. And I don't know, it was just clear to me. Emotions, expressiveness, fun. I wanted to provide fun
Exactly.
to students.
I was telling you as well, like I love stories. When I try to learn a language, I like to read the books, short stories, the classical stories and everything. But when you read them, you learn a lot of good vocabulary. But when it comes to talking to people on the street, they don't help you that much, because you wouldn't be using those words in the real conversation. And that's why your stories are pretty useful for me, because you catch the phrases like don't be scared, like, or like damn, or again, kind of phrases you always say and repeat them all
don't
the time.
Be crazy. Ne budi luda. I know. The thing so I remember always my students asking like, oh, I would love to read books in Serbian. And then they mentioned, I don't know, Ivo Andrić. Okay. Oh boy, don't do that. Because what happens if you are not on that level? Okay. It happens that you constantly stop and you don't understand. And then it's frustrating. And also the language of some writers is not appropriate language for the language learners. Sometimes it's too metaphorical. Sometimes some writers invent the words.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's archaic. Okay. So it doesn't help you. Okay. Yeah. For me, it's also hard I read everything in English, but literature, it's hard. I kind of stop constantly and then get frustrated, and I don't like it. But if I want to read a PDF book about, I don't know, some random stuff, not the literature, let's say how to make a video clip, I read it in English and I have no problems. So then I was thinking like books can help you. I mean, they can if you are like super level, but most of the students, they need something in the middle. So the short stories are the best format. They are enough short so you don't get frustrated. It will be over after a page or after 10 minutes. Exactly. You can go back to it. You can review it a few times, and you can do it.
Yeah, you can even memorize them and say them. Like record your voice like while trying to repeat them in your own words. So they are definitely more useful for especially lower level students. And you think of your goal, you want to speak it with your beloved one or with your family, friends, right? So if that is the goal, of course you might enjoy reading books, but when it comes to speaking like a native or fluently with the natives, it's not that it shouldn't be the priority for you to study.
Exactly.
Before we continue with the show, here's a quick reminder. This podcast is free for everyone and supported by listeners like you. We hope that this podcast is useful and convenient to you. This is a labor of love for both of us. To help us continue creating useful content for everyone, we will appreciate your help. If you have the means, you can support us in different ways. You may just go to buymeacoffee.com/mozdekafa podcast and send us some cups of coffee. You may also become a member of our show on patreon.com/mozdekafa podcast and get extra benefits like bonus content, full transcripts of the show in Serbian, or even join us on the show. We rely on your support to help everyone more in learning Serbian language and culture. Thanks for joining us today. And now let's get back to our episode.
And the books, they don't, most of the time, they don't have dialogues, and you need dialogues. Yeah,
exactly.
So in the short stories also can be without dialogues. I mostly in my stories, I don't have the second person, or if I have it, so I just talk to myself. I'm like, I'm telling what I don't say to other people who annoy me, for example. But or I add a character. It's my boss, it's the mosquito, or are my guests. But most of the time I don't say anything to them, but I think what should I say to them, but I don't say it because I'm polite, nice, and so on. Yeah. So but I do that on purpose to make these dialogues, because students learn from dialogues, and that's important.
Exactly. So you got my reaction. I really love them. I watched all these stories that you put on YouTube. Let me give some names for our listeners. You have Sitnica 1 and Sitnica 2, right?
Yes. Sitnica.
Sitnica, they are small things, right?
Exactly.
You have Početnik.
Exactly.
And December.
December.
And what was the Rad or Nerad od kuće?
I think that was my favorite.
Really? That's your favorite? I was going to ask you your favorite. Yeah. Komarac.
Komarac.
That's one of the oldest ones, I guess, right? Komarac. Very good. So that's your favorite, huh? Why is it your favorite? Nerad od kuće?
Because I'm an online teacher. I'm an online teacher, but I also have experience in a corporation. So I also know how these things function. For me, it was fun. Like when COVID started, everyone was like, online word and everything. For me, that was like forever like that. I was always an online teacher, but I also used to work at a corporation like for 2 years or something. So I know all the meetings, and you have a meeting online and they speak things you don't want to hear and you don't need to hear, but you're still there. Okay, so you want to mute the thing. Or especially in the COVID time, like then you have something on in the kitchen cooking,
Yeah.
You want to mix it. And they're there and you have to be there, so you want to turn off the camera, or you forgot to turn off the camera. So this is my favorite story, because it reminds me of my corporation.
Funny moments that every one of us every one of us lived that moment, so we definitely resonate with it.
I suffered. That story is my suffering.
Yeah.
But I'm actually preparing now a new one.
Ooh.
And actually, I think that the new one will be my favorite one.
Okay. Spoilers. Do we get some spoilers?
I will surprise you totally.
All right.
This one.
So you
have been shocking.
Okay. I can't wait to see it. So you said you've been teaching for a long time. There must be some questions, like typical questions all the time asked to you about learning Serbian. What are the most common questions that keep coming all these years?
I don't get questions. I get complaints.
Okay.
No one asks how, or if they ask, it looks like a question, but it's not a question. It's like, how can I learn this?
Yeah.
So yeah, I get complaints. And I get complaints. I understand why students are frustrated. What's that? But the thing is, like, I think Serbian is difficult, but I also find I can't say like it's less difficult than this language and it's more difficult than that language, because if you have cases, then your verb system is usually not that difficult. Okay, so let's say we have cases in Serbian, but our tenses are pretty much easy. Okay, it's doable. Like I can spend maybe 2 hours with someone and you'll get what's going on, right? But in English, for example, like you have no cases, but then these tenses, like when to use present perfect and when to use the, or conditionals in English, hell, but no cases. Okay. So some other languages are like also, so in the language, it goes like this. If the noun system is complicated, the verb system is not complicated. And this is a rule for each language. So I think the difficult thing about language is not just not just the rules, it's the difficult thing is like, how can you memorize it? And here comes the part, like, what are your resources? English you hear from me is not from the school. It's from the movies. Yeah, I make mistakes, I know that. No. And my personal attitude is like, it serves the purpose. I feel good. I feel free. I can say whatever I want. Even if I get stuck, I unstuck easily. So this is my goal, is to read in English, to participate in these kind of conversations, to enjoy, to laugh, to make jokes. This is my goal. And even if I make mistakes, I mean, of course, sometimes I work on mistakes when I have time. But because I'm a teacher, I don't know, I kind of try to escape and go out and do physical stuff more than learning languages.
You have done enough studying. I know.
Exactly. But I told you about Italian, and I think I'm getting serious about Italian. So what I want to say, it's just like, what are your resources? And my resources in learning English were always movies, TV shows, fun, YouTube. I was never like, how can I do this? Because I've never had a person who bothered me, like, put the ending. What's that? So I had the attitude like, this is fun and I'm learning it for myself. I want to have this alter ego. Why am I mentioning that? Because in each language you have a different ego.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Depending
I had so many fights with mine. I know.
But you live here. That is amazing. Yeah.
That is amazing. But that's also kind of triggers my ego. Like, you've been living here and you're still not doing that. Kind of feelings come to mind. But like I told you, that was before. Now I'm more laid back and I just start enjoying and watching more instead of sitting down and studying, because I think I got the grammar and the structure already. I just need to speak more and more. And spring is here, so it's a good time to go out and try to speak with all the strangers out there.
Exactly. The thing is, like, I think the resource is the most important thing if you want to get results. The resources and then the approach. So the grammar repeats. The grammar is in patterns constantly. So you need vocabulary, and this month I focus on accusative. Next month I focus on past tense, but the grammar is all around and it repeats in patterns. So you see the patterns and then you just, this month you focus on this, next month, but the vocabulary. So I have this feeling that everyone is focusing on practicing the grammar.
Yeah, Padesi grammar especially.
You can't, I mean, you have to practice it, of course. But imagine this, like, even if you make super 1,000 mistakes in cases, if your tenses are cool, you rock, because people will understand you. Is this something that happening now, or is going to happen? And this is important. And if you say, u autobus, u autobusa, I mean, I get u and I get autobus, you're good to go. So you will fix it with the time. But where is your vocabulary? Where are the words? I mean, people won't understand you without the words. People will understand you if you make mistakes in grammar. So to be clear, I do think grammar is important, but I just think the approach should be different. So you practice the grammar with the context. Let's say I give you the story, Komarac, or I don't know, maybe the one Žmurke, when I'm on the train and I don't like the guy sitting in front of me.
Yeah. Who sleeps?
He's annoying.
Yeah, I know.
He's annoying. I mean, he's constantly rustling into his bag, and I don't. It's annoying. And for example, like, I can teach you with, I don't know, different vocabulary. I can teach you the grammar. Use imperative. What do you say to the guy? You say, prestani. Dosadan si.
Dosadan si,
Okay,
yeah.
prestani, nemoj da pričaš, nemoj da spavaš. And then all the vocabulary from the story you put in an imperative, right? You repeat the vocabulary, you remember the words, but you practice one grammar unit.
Exactly. The
So
context will stick in your mind and you will remember how to use nemoj da structure.
Exactly. And then you will notice the pattern. Nemoj da spavaš, nemoj da ćutiš. What's it? Oh, I see, tiša.
Yeah.
After a while, when you say it 1,000 times, nemoj da spavaš, nemoj da ćutiš, nemoj da šuškaš kesom.
Yeah, šuškaš. Yes, I remember that too.
Yes,
you see,
you will remember.
They're still in my mind.
I can say I'm surprised. Yes,
I mean, I
say,
repeat from time to time, to be honest, because really I find them useful and they are unique. I mean, I can't find those kind of stories anywhere else in my resource.
It's good that I'm first.
Okay, these are very useful tips for Serbian learners living in Serbia or not living in Serbia. So you are a very good role model for the ones who are not here, like who are not in Serbia, because they can still use those online resources, movies, songs, and everything to catch up with all the things that they need in the language, as you said. So exactly. Very good. Thank you for these tricks.
No, you're very welcome.
Okay. So I have some stereotypes about Serbians. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you them. We do this to all our guests who come here for the interview, and we want your honest answers for this. Do you agree? Disagree? Okay.
I agree, to be honest.
Okay. So Serbs drink a lot. You just had a sip of something. Was that rakia?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we do.
Serbs often get angry.
Oh, yes, we do. I mean, I have to explain that. I mean, Serbs are not afraid of conflict, I would say. So I'm not saying that, we attack people around and fight, but it's just like, I can't say, I don't feel that we're super polite. There are some people in Serbia, they say, okay, people in Novi Sad are more polite than people in Belgrade, something like that. I hear that, but I don't know. I would say that we express our emotions. So that's why I say angry. Okay, if I'm angry, then I show you that I'm not satisfied with this. So definitely we do, but we also show when we are happy, surprised, excited. So I think we show all emotions.
That's beautiful. Yeah. I like that.
I mean, when you go out, you see that. Yeah, exactly. When you go out in a bar, you see that. When you go, I don't know, outside in the park, you hear that. Exactly. You hear the neighbors.
I see some conversations like they are using their hands and everything. I think that they are having fun, and then they're smiling and sending kisses each other. I'm like, oh, they were just sharing a funny story, probably with all these gestures.
Before our meeting, I was like, okay, Atska, your hands like this. You want wave, but I can't help it. No, I'm waving.
This is a coffee place, Moja coffee place, so be comfortable.
Waving aloud.
Yeah. Serbs are proud is the next one.
Oh, yeah, I think it's true. Yeah, some are more proud than they should be. Yeah, depending on the context, but I would say that, yeah.
You said you are good at showing your feelings, and you create funny stories, but is it true that Serbs like dark humor?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think humor in general, but yeah, I wouldn't say, I don't know, when I think of dark humor, I think of England. Their humor can get interesting, all right? Yeah. But I wouldn't compare that England humor with British humor, with Serbian humor, but yeah, we can get dark. Yeah. Okay. I think the dark in Serbia is connected with traditional. So when you think of some customs or beliefs, superstitions, this is where we get dark with marriage, with
social
family,
connections.
with social connect. Yeah. Something like traditional things and traditional beliefs that we now kind of overcame, like we became more modern. But yeah, like when I think of dark humor, I think of that.
I see. Good.
Past.
And I added this one because we have an episode on it. Serbs do things out of spite. Is inata.
Oh, yes.
Of course, out of question.
Yes, but that is all connected, I guess. Like if you're an expressive person, emotional person, then proud like I said,
comes
we are.
Yeah.
When you mix being proud and then being emotional, you get enough.
I see.
You get
Okay.
But of course, this is like in general. Of course, there are people who totally don't have that.
Exactly.
But most of people, yes, I would say,
would have a little bit of nuts in their hearts.
Yes.
Okay. Rapid questions about your favorite things or your not favorite things. So, favorite Serbian meal?
I like pita.
Pita. Okay. Your favorite dessert?
I'm boring. I like these dry cookies.
How are they called?
Например, gomboce. Do you know?
Gomboce.
Gomboce. These are like
little round something comes into my
round, and inside is a plum. It's like not dumpling, but it's round.
Little balls
with potatoes, little balls, and then inside is a plum. This is my
potato
favorite.
in dessert.
But when you put sugar, it's fine. So you cook potato, you make something like puree, and then you kind of use it to make the dough. That's on gomboce. I'll send you the link for that. And I think I like strudels. They're not like super Serbian, but let's say for Vojvodina.
Here as well, they are very common. Yeah. Favorite place in Serbia?
I live in Novi Sad. I love Novi Sad, but I also love Belgrade.
Belgrade wins.
Yes, I've been living here for 15 years, so I think I would love to spend more time in Belgrade in future. I think Belgrade is more lively, and I think this is what I like.
So, favorite spot in Belgrade then?
I like the fortress, of course.
Yes, Kalemegdan.
Yes, I like Kalemegdan.
I see.
The best place.
The funniest word in Serbia for you? Or weirdest?
I don't know. I like this one. Raspikuća is someone who is throwing away the money, the income, everything what this person possesses, and it's materialistic one, like money or mostly it's money. Raspikuća, so you are doing this with a house. So like if I would have this handful of coins, let's say, would I do this? It's not just I throw them, it's like I spill them everywhere. So raspikuća, yes, this is a word for but it's archaic, but I like it.
Yeah, it's good. A new word for me. Raspikuća. Okay. The most difficult word to pronounce in Serbian?
What would be that for me?
For
what
you,
I can't pronounce.
For your students, let's say, that's going to be better.
For my students. Let me check. What I can't pronounce. I don't know, something with consonants. Maybe
like four
consonants. I think krv. Most of people blood. Krv. Exactly.
I mean, when I first came to Belgrade, Trg Republika, I was like,
yes.
I wasn't sure how to say that. I thought it's just like initials. It's not a word, but initials of something. They said it's a word, and I was like,
it's hard. Yeah, but I
Welcome to
get you
Serbia.
with trg, kr, or something like that, because this R is a vowel here, so it's like
Yeah.
curve. It's somehow kind of roll it as well. And then, yeah, I think it's also for me sometimes, like when I say srce,
Yeah.
if I put it in other cases, it's like, I think that's the problem, this R, vocal R. Yeah.
My biggest difficulty is these two sounds, L and Y. I always can't say them properly. Each time I say, I know that I'm making mistake, but I don't know how to fix it.
Can you say lulashka? Well, this is the swing.
Lulashka? Lulashka?
Lulashka?
Lulashka?
Yes. The beginning was cool. Lulashka?
Yeah. Sahva luluchi?
Yes. But that word is hard even for me.
I know. And it's so useful word, and it's so difficult.
Yeah.
So
I have to admit that I somehow feel that English or speaking slowly with my students somehow affected my Serbian. Sometimes I hear that my L in some words is like more relaxed than it should be or something. Sometimes I hear that. And then it's because I try to speak slower during the class. Sometimes when I make a video for Serbian, I forget totally about speaking slowly because I focus on acting. Crazy. I will get better at this. But I noticed that sometimes, it's rarely, of course, but if I speak a lot in English that week, something like that, I can hear that some sounds became different, but I'm still good at Serbian.
You're still good at teaching it. I'm sure you are.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks a lot for joining us today. It was really fun
it was
having
a pleasure.
You. Yeah.
Yes.
And you gave
it's great to meet you.
Exactly. Likewise. You gave so many good tips. I mean, from a different perspective, you're looking at this language learning process, and I really appreciate it. Keep bringing those little stories. They are really, really helpful for
Wait
everyone
for the next one.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah. Do you know what's fun? When I talk about these things, like now we are finishing, of course, but I always have the feeling, oh, I didn't say everything.
I know.
There are more things I want to say. And it's
it's our stories. We want to keep it around 20 minutes, but we always end up with 40 minutes. So we know what
I know. But that also means that I enjoy. So it was very nice. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate your podcast very much. It's talking about culture. And this is something that had to be covered in Serbian, and you girls did it first and very nicely. And especially the combination of Ivana and you. It's good. Your perspective, her perspective, amazing. So keep doing, and definitely I'll use your materials with my students, and I'll refer to you. Yeah,
Thank
you.
This
is also important. Yeah, the culture is not. You can't divide language from the culture, and
exactly. We are doing the easy part of the supporting learners. You're doing the hard part, so good luck to you.
I wouldn't say it's easy. It's definitely work. Yeah.
All right. Vidimo se then. Prijetno.
Vidimo se. Hvala ti puno.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.